Okay, students, so we starting with this types of roof trusses, right? First one is a king post. If our span is less than 9 meter, so we consider this type of king post, right? Second is a queen post, right? So this all type of a roof trusses, right? Second is a queen post, which is if the span is between 6 to 9 meter, then we consider the queen post, right? Third one is a fan type. If span is 9 to 12 meter, then we consider this fan type roof truss, right? Next is a fink type, right? If the span is between 6 to 9 meter, then fink type roof truss is also considered. The fifth one is a hoe trusses, right? So if the span is between 6 to 24 meter, then hoe trusses is considered. Sixth one is a north light type, right? So if the span is between 5 to 8 meter, we consider this north light type roof trusses. Seventh one is a triangular roof truss, which is a span is between 6 to 30 meter. So that type of triangular roof truss is considered as a design, right? The eighth one is a compound fink, right? Compound fink type, in which a 12 to 18 meter, if our span is between 12 to 18 meter, then compound fink is generally considered. Next is a warren type. If our span is between 6 to 30 meter, then this type of roof truss is also used, right? And next one is a hoe truss, which is in a flat type, right? The first one is a normal hoe truss in a triangular form, but in this flat type, right? If our span is between 6 to 24 meter, then hoe type flat truss is used, right? So basically in our industrial building, hoe type this truss, right? Hoe type flat, warren type, right? So this three type of truss are mostly used in industrial building, right? So going further, there are some steps or some definitions or some type of equations, right? So we can understand that. First one is a pitch of truss. The pitch, how to find the pitch of truss? So pitch of truss is equal to height of truss divided by span of truss, right? Next is these two types of sheet. I already spoken to all of you that roof covering material is generally two type. One is a GI and third one is ACC, which is asbestos cement sheet, right? And GI means galvanized iron sheet roofing, right? So there are some types of factors. If we consider galvanized iron sheet roofing, then consider as a 1 divided by 6, and when AC sheets consider for roofing, therefore the factor is 1 by 2. Now going forward, spacing of truss, right? So generally spacing of truss is mainly depends on the span of the trusses, right? So the distance between two consecutive trusses are known as the spacing of trusses. Now we are talking about spacing is basically depends on the span, right? So if roof truss span is less than 15 meter, then the spacing is between 3 meter to 4.5 meter. If roof truss span is between 15 meter to 13 meter, right? So that the spacing is between 4.5 meter to 6 meter. If span is greater than 30 meter, then spacing is considered as the 12 meter to 15 meter. Right? Here note is, if the spacing is more, the cost of purlin also increases with the increasing in spacings. Right? So purlin definition you already right. So we talk about here purlin. So definition of purlin is, it is supported on the panel points of two consecutive roof trusses, right? And the basic function of purlin is to support roofing sheets as well as to stiffen the entire roof structure, right? Now we are planning about and structural framing, right? The basically the planning and the design of industrial buildings requires the knowledge of the following areas, right? There are some type of knowledge we are known, so that we can easily planning or structural design, right? It's better for the planning and the designing of this industrial building, right? So what are the knowledgeable points here? First one is availability of raw material. Is the material available in the nearby area or not? Second one is availability of waste disposal and sanitary facilities, right? Third one is budget and project schedule, etc. What are the budgets, right? What are the project schedules, etc. details which are needed to be right, which are basically required, right, while planning and designing, right? Fourth one is a crane types and capacity. Which types of cranes are used to build industrial building, and what capacity of crane, right? Next is a future expansion plans. If our business or industrial building is needed to be extended, right? So it is better to think about that in present, right? So that we can expansion plans for the futures, right? Next is heating, ventilation, air conditioning equipments, loads, right? So next is a plan layout and workflow, right? So plan layout and workflow, these all the topics are related to before before we designing the industrial building. These all points are keep in mind, right? Such as a plan layout, what are the plan layout of industrial building, and how's the work flows, right? Next is prefers base sizes. It's a parking facilities, prefer fabricators or contractors, roofing, side cladding and wall material preferences. It's a site information, its soil conditions, right? So these all are basic knowledge which will be required for planning and structural framing, right? Next, in the planning of a particular type of industrial building, following factors should be given due consideration, right? What are the main factors should be considered while this particular type of industrial building? So first one is a wide area which is free of columns, right? Industrial building have a large height. Industrial building have a large doors and windows, large span of trusses, it's lightning, right? Minimum weight of trusses, purlins and beams, columns, etc. Sanitary arrangement, safety during fire, these all are the basic factor which is mostly considered while designing, right? Now next is what are the factors while selecting the site for an industrial building, right? So the basically site should be located on the arterial road, topography on area, it's a transportation facilities, local availabilities of raw materials, right? The materials are available nearby area or not. If not available in the nearby area, so transportation facilities are available or not, because in nearby area, if all these raw materials available in nearby areas, so we cannot pay the extra money for this transport different materials, right? And if these raw materials are not available in the nearby area or local area, so we can so our transportation cost of the arrangement of these raw materials are huge, are more, right? So facilities like water supply, electricities are very necessary and very important, because without the electricity there are no fabrication works are done in this site, right? So water supply is necessary, electricity, these are the basic needs of the designing of building, right? Soil conditions with respect to the foundation design, right? If the soils conditions are not suitable for industrial type foundation design, right? So there are no need to be construction of the industrial building, right? So most important is the soil condition, soil testing first. whenever we go to this go for the site selection of for an industrial building, the first step is to choose the soil conditions and send in the lab, right? So that we can understand that if soil type is suitable for the foundation, then and then only you can build this industrial building, right? Next is sufficient space for the storage of raw materials, right? Space for the future expansion. If our business as expands, so that we can also expand our industrial building, so we can also produce more and more products or items, right? So we are ready for the future expansion, so these are also considered. So there are some space we arrange near our industrial building, right? So waste disposal facilities, right? So these are the roof industrial building figure, right? Here is a gable entrance. This distance between two columns is considered as a span, right? This cross one is the bracings, X bracings, right? These are the ridge lines, okay? Upper chord members, bracings, right? These are the end trusses, bracing columns, right? So generally spacings of purlins varies from 1.35 meter to 2 meter. These are the basic criteria given in your IS codes, right? So these are given, right? For example, spacing of purlins are already given, which is varies from 1.35 to 2 meter. So spacing of roof truss or selection, there are different types of steel sections which are to be choose is basically depends on the spacing of roof truss, right? If we talk about small roof truss, which is about 3 meter to 4 meter, so we can select angle steel sections, right? If medium roof truss is about 4 meter to 5 meter, then we choose channel section. And if large roof truss which is greater than 5 meter, right, so based on that we select I section, right? Or for the we talk about the sheeting material, right? First one is a GI sheet, which is galvanized iron sheet, which is available in the gauges are 16, 18, 20, 22, 25. So thickness is equal to a gauge or gauge by 25 mm, right? It's about available length are 1.8 meter, 2.2 meter, 2.5 meter, 2.8 meter and 3 meter, and the side lapse is 1.5 and 2 coagulation. Next is AC sheets, which is available length is 1.75 meter, 2 meter, 2.5 meter and 3 meter, and the available thickness is 6 mm for 1.4 meter spacing and 7 mm is for 1.6 meter spacing. So side lap is 1 coagulations. Okay, so basically in industrial building, what are the codes used? So first one is IS 875 part 3, right, which is for wind load analysis. So talking about this dead load, imposed load and wind load, right? Load analysis is is always divided into 3 parts: dead load, imposed load and wind load. So in dead load, a GI sheet is taken as 100 to 150 Newton per meter square. AC sheet is equal to 170 to 200 Newton per meter square. Purlin is equal to 100 to 120 Newton per meter square. So these all criteria are given in different types of codes, which is IS 875 part 1 is for dead load, IS 875 part 2 is for imposed load or live load, and at the last one IS 875 part 3 is for the wind load, right? So imposed load, which is if 10 degrees slope is given, up to 10 degrees slope we consider live load as 0.75 km per meter square. If greater than 10 degrees slope, it's considered as right? 0.75 plus 0.02, theta minus 10 kilonewton per meter square. Here theta is the slope of the city. So minimum size is 0.40 kilonewton per meter square. Here we talk about this wind load, right? So I know wind load is already you are studying in the previous semester. So basic wind pressure equation, Pz is equal to 0.6 Vz square, right, which is given in page number 12. The equation of Vz is equal to Vb multiplied by K1 multiplied by K2 multiplied by K3. Here Vb is the, what is the meaning of Vb is the basic wind speed, right? It's based on 6 zones of India and between 33 meter per second to 55 meter per second. Here K1 is the risk coefficient which is given in table number 4. K2 is the coefficient depends on terrain, height and the structure size factor which is given in table number 5. K3 is the topographic factor. Right? So what are the load combinations here? Is a dead load plus live load, dead load plus wind load, but the worst combination is dead load plus live load plus wind load. All the loads are coming at the same coming on the same structure. Then we prepare for this designing for the worst combination of loads. Yeah, right? So here we end our lecture here. If you don't know about anything or any questions coming in your mind, so let me know so I can solve your questions right here, right?